Welcome back to my channel. So I would be starting today with chapter 4, carbon and its compound. So it says, question number 1 says, a compound X on heating with excess of concentrated H2SO4 at 443 Kelvin gives an unsaturated compound Y. X also react with sodium metal to evolve a colorless gas, that is Z. Identify X, Y and Z. So X in this case will be ethanol. Why? Because it says when ethanol is heated with concentrated H2SO4, it gives an unsaturated compound, and that unsaturated compound here is ethene, that is alkene. So CH2 double bond CH2 plus H2O is released. Now when X also reacts with sodium metal, that means ethanol actually reacts with sodium metal. So as you can see on your screen, we have ethanol when reacts with sodium gives sodium ethoxide because this H will be replaced by sodium here, and hydrogen gas is evolved, that is your Z. Z is the colorless gas, that is hydrogen gas, and your Y is ethene and X is ethanol. So in the last it says also write the role of concentrated sulfuric acid. So concentrated H2SO4 acts as a dehydrating agent here that can dehydrate your ethanol and forms unsaturated compound. Now moving on to next. Next is, why are most carbon compounds poor conductor of electricity? Carbon compounds are formed because of covalent bonding. So it is because covalent compounds do not form ions, and ions are the only reason the ionic compounds conduct electricity easily. Therefore, in the covalent compounds, they do not form ions and therefore does not conduct electricity. Now B part says write the name and structure of a saturated compound. Saturated, that means single bonding. Now, in which carbon atoms are arranged in a ring, give the number of single bonds present in this compound. So, in your book, there is one diagram of cyclohexane. In this, they are using 6 carbon compounds attached with 2 H2 each. So, it is forming cyclohexane. It is in the like a chain structure. So as you can count, it actually has 18 single bonds present in this cyclohexane. Now this is all for this. Now moving on to next. Next question says an aldehyde as well as ketone can be represented by the same molecular formula, say C3H6O. Write their structures and name them. State the relationship between two in language of science. So in this we have an aldehyde and we have an ketone. Both have same formula, that is C3H6O. So now you have to first of all make a aldehyde of it and make a ketone out of it. So as you can see, we can make propanol and we can make propanol, that is ketone. So you can see we have two different structures, but they have same molecular formula, that is C3H6O. So therefore they are known as functional isomers because they have same molecular formula but different structure. So it is known as functional isomers. Now moving on to next. It says the carbon compounds X and Y have the molecular formula C4H3. It is C4H8 and C5H12 respectively. Which one of these is most likely to show addition reaction? Justify your answer. Also give chemical equations to explain the process of addition reaction in this case. So we have two compounds, that is one is butene and another is pentene. So in this case I will prefer to take butene, and butene will undergo addition reaction because it has double bond, while C5H12, that is pentane, is an saturated hydrocarbon which cannot go undergo addition reaction. So as you can see, we have alkene, that is butene here, and H2, and we have a catalyst nickel that can actually lower down the butene to butane. So as you can see, alkene has been changed to alkane. So in this, you must remember that what addition reaction is. So addition reaction is when we have unsaturated hydrocarbon and we want saturated hydrocarbon. Now next question. This is same as the earlier one. So I will skip this. Now moving on to next, it says distinguish between esterification and saponification reaction with the help of equations for each. State one use of each, that is esters and saponification. So esterification is when we have ethanol and we have ethanoic acid. So ethanol, when reacts with ethanoic acid in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, it forms ester and water is released. In the second process, that says saponification, in this we make use of ester and mix it with sodium hydroxide to form CH3 COO plus C2H5OH, that is sodium ethoxide, and ethanol is released here. Now we know we need to state one use of each, that is esters and saponification. So esters are actually used in synthetic flavors and perfumes, and saponification is actually used in the manufacture of soaps. Let's start with next. So it says name two oxidizing agents that are used to convert alcohols to acid. So we have two oxidizing agents that can convert alcohol to acids. So first is alkaline KMnO4. The second one is acidified potassium dichromate. In the second one, it says distinguish between alcohol and ethanol and ethanoic acid on the basis of litmus test and reaction with NaHCO3, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. So litmus test can convert acidic acid into blue litmus red, but ethanol does not. Why? Because it is not an acid or base. So only acidic acid can show some change in this. Whereas in sodium hydrogen carbonate, acidic acid actually give off some carbon dioxide in the reaction, whereas ethanol will not react with sodium hydrogen carbonate. So this is the difference between ethanol and ethanoic acid on the basis of litmus test and reaction with sodium hydrogen carbonate. Now next one, it says write the molecular formula of benzene, draw its structure, list in tabular form how covalent compounds differ from ionic compounds. So in this, first make benzene structure. So benzene is C6H6, and in this it is actually a unsaturated carbon compound. Why? Because it has three double bond in it, as you can see, and it is a cyclo structure. So in the second one, we need to make the difference. We need to write the difference between covalent compound and ionic compound. So covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity, whereas ionic compounds are good conductor of electricity as they have ion in it. So second is covalent compounds have low melting and boiling point, whereas ionic compound have high melting and boiling point. Why? Because it has strong intermolecular forces between them. Now next one is what are hydrocarbons? Write the general formula of saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon. So in this, write hydrocarbons are the compounds which has carbon and hydrogen only. Whereas in the case of we need to write the general formula for saturated. So here we will be writing for alkane, that is CnH2n plus 2. And one example is shown here, that is CH. In the second one, we need to write general formula for unsaturated hydrocarbon. So you will write for alkenes and then for alkynes. So alkynes is CnH2n, whereas alkynes are CnH2n minus 2. So this is the general formula, and you can show one example for each in this. Next is write any three physical properties and three uses of ethanol. So ethanol has some specific smell and it is soluble in water. It has some burning taste, whereas uses it can be used in antiseptic, it can be used as solvent, it can be used in wine making, beer or whiskey making, and it is used for preparation of ethanoic acid and esters as well as learned earlier. In the second question, it says we have three different compound here, that is C3H6, C4H8, C5H10. So they are from same one homologous series. So homologous series, we need to define what is homologous series. So it is series of organic compounds having same functional group and similar chemical properties. They should have similar chemical property and same functional group, then only we can say they can form homologous series. Now it says in the second one why the melting point and boiling point of C5H10 is higher than C4H3. Why? Because C5H10 has higher molecular mass. If it has higher molecular mass, then it has more surface area and more van der Waals forces of attraction between them. So therefore C5H10 has higher boiling point than C4H8. So in the C part, we need to arrange these hydrocarbons in order of increasing boiling points. So increasing boiling point, the highest one C5H10, then C4H8, lesser bonds, then the least is C3H6. Now next one, we need to state the meaning of functional group. So functional group is an atom or group of atoms which determine chemical properties of some organic compounds. Now we need to write the formula for functional group present in alcohols. Alcohol is OH as drawn in on the screen, and then aldehyde C double bond O then H. For ketone it is C double bond O and it is placed in between, and then we have carboxylic acid. It has C double bond O OH, that is carboxylic acid. Now moving on to next, write the respective chemical equations to show what happens when. So it says methane is burned in presence of oxygen. So CH4, this is methane, then oxygen. So as you know, when any carbon compound is burned in the presence of oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide and H2O, and then you need to balance this equation. In the second one, it is ethanol when heated with sulfuric acid. So concentrated H2SO4, 443 Kelvin on the arrow. Then as you know, ethanol when uh, heated with concentrated H2SO4, it forms ethene and release water. Now next, ethanol reacts with ethanoic acid in the presence of an acid acting as a catalyst. So it will form ester and water is released. Now moving on to next, it says an ester has the formula C4H8O2. Writes its structural formula. What happens when this ester is heated in the presence of sodium hydroxide solution? So when ester, first of all draw the structural formula for this ester, then react this ester with NaOH. It will be saponification. It will form sodium propanate. Like this in this reaction, as you can see, NaOH when reacts to ester, it is replaced by CH3 and Na is come over here and we have CH3 here left and we have OH here left. So it will be CH3OH, that is methanol. Now moving on to next, we have while covalent compounds generally poor conductor, this is repeated question, it do not form ions, therefore they are poor conductor of electricity. Now the second one, we need to name the following compound. So as you can see, we have C double O bond in between. That means it is from the functional group ketone, and we have three carbon compounds. So if we have three carbon compounds, this means it is propanol. In the third one, name the gas evolved when ethanoic acid is added to sodium carbonate. How will you how will you test the presence of gas? So if carbon dioxide gas will be liberated, then pass the gas through lime water, and if lime water turns milky, that confirms the presence of carbon dioxide gas in it. Now moving on to next, we need to give a chemical test to distinguish between saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. So in this, you can write about bromine water. Saturated hydrocarbons will not react with bromine water, whereas unsaturated hydrocarbons will decolorize it. So we can use bromine water to distinguish between saturated and for unsaturated. So second one, name the products formed when ethane burns in air. So ethane when burns in air, it will form carbon dioxide, it will form water, it will form heat and light too, and balance the equation. In the C part, it says Wise reaction between methane and chlorine in presence of sunlight is considered to be a substitution reaction, because in this case the hydrogen atom is substituted by the halogen atom. Here, halogen here is chlorine, so therefore we consider it as a substitution reaction. For add-on, you can even write the equation you know. Then moving on to next, it says differentiate between soap and detergent. So soaps are the sodium salts of fatty acids, whereas in detergent, these are sodium salts or sulfonic acids. And soaps do not work well with hard water, whereas detergent work well even with hard water. And in the second case, it says explain why soaps form scum with water whereas detergent do not. Because sodium salts of fatty acids or soaps react with calcium ions and magnesium ion in hard water to form insoluble salt. It is also known as scum. So detergents actually form soluble salts in with calcium and magnesium ions. So that's the difference between soaps and detergent. Now moving on to next, it says how is vinegar made? So vinegar is actually 5 to 8% solution of acetic acid in water. So they take ethanoic acid and put it into water, and it can also be made by fermentation of ethanol. In the second one, this has been repeated many times. What is glacial acetic acid? So glacial acetic acid is pure 100% acetic acid, and its melting point is about 290 K. So you can write this in the B part. So why are carboxylic acid called weak acids? Because they do not ionize completely in aqueous solution. They do not mix well with aqueous solution or water. In the last one, we have write the name and formula of compounds formed when the ester undergoes saponification. So when ester go reacts with NaOH, it forms sodium ethonate plus C2H5OH is formed in this case. So you have to write the full equation here and write the formula for compounds formed when ester undergoes saponification. So that's the end for this video. Have a great day and keep watching my videos. I will upload more these types of videos. Have a great day ahead. Thank you for watching this.